What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to jump in and talk about how to defeat Kalli, the Techian, inside of the Last Wish raid. This is of course the first encounter in the raid. It's the one that's going to break you in to the nightmare that is the Last Wish raid. But on top of this is also how you can currently acquire a third subclass, so that is the third Seed of Light drop. So right at this point in time, you will have to clear at least this encounter to have a chance at the Seed of Light. So we're going to break it all down in this video. It's going to be a bit of a complicated one though. If you guys do enjoy this one, a like below is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. But for now, let's get straight into it. So as I mentioned, Kalli, the Techian, is the first encounter inside of the Last Wish raid. And when you start the raid up, you are literally thrown straight into this encounter. So it will be the very first thing that you do. We may as well talk about the Seed of Light up first. So when you clear this one, you do have a chance to get the Seed of Light. That is the third Seed of Light, or the second one without the quest at least, meaning that you can get the third subclass upgrade. At this current moment in time, I don't believe there is any other way to get this dropped. So you will have to do the raid. I do, however, feel like Bungie at some point will create another source for that third subclass, and that could be in the pretty near future, especially with the changes that are supposedly going to happen inside of Dreaming City once the full Last Wish raid has been completed. But now, let's talk about Techian Kalli and how you actually defeat this boss inside of Last Wish. So essentially, just to break down the kind of basic idea here, everyone in the team will have to stand on one of the plates on the outside of the room. There are a total of 9 plates. You'll only actually need 6 inside of the normal mode. You'll have to defend a plate and essentially charge it up until a taken knight spawns on the plate. Once you take that knight down, once all of the knights around the room have been taken down, everyone can head to the middle and actually DPS the boss. The boss will have an attack that wipes the entire team, and in order to survive this, you'll have to use safe rooms that you can see on the kind of steps right here in the well. This is kind of a blind well copy that we actually see in the raid. You'll be able to do damage, then you'll have to use a safe room, come back out, do more damage. So it's a little bit like Vozic, and once the damage phase is over, you'll go back to charging up the plates on the outside of the room. So that is the kind of basic description. But now let's talk about how you actually do this. So in the middle of the room right here, you can see that above the well, we do have 6 symbols, and they come in 2s. So what you can see on screen right now, on the left-hand side is what we call the 8. These are just the names that our team has created. The one at the back is called Infinity because all of the sides touch, of course. The one on the right we've been calling Smiley. This is kind of shaped like a smile. But there is a 4th symbol that you can't see right here, and it's a snake with 2 heads. So this one we call Heads. It's worth kind of getting that into your head or creating your own system for that. But the reason only 3 of the symbols are displayed, and they are displayed in 2s, is because one of the symbols is going to be redundant in each phase. So basically, from what I'm seeing on screen right here, it means we need 2 players to go to the 8 symbols, 2 players to go to the Infinity symbols, and 2 players to go to the Smiley symbols. So you can see I'm looking right here. When I turn to my right, I actually have Heads on this plate, so this means that no one needs to go to it. And instead of creating kind of complicated labeling systems and things like that, or specific plates that our team has to actually stand on, basically what we would call out when we look at the middle is Heads out. So that means that Heads is not being displayed over the middle and no one needs to stand on those plates. So what we're doing is having a player go to each of the symbols that we see around the middle, and when you're actually on a plate, you will have to defend it. And the way this works is that 2 of the segments on the plate will have taken bombs which charge up and explode. You'll need to stay in the segment that does not have one of these bombs, and they'll change periodically, so you'll have to keep moving into different segments on the plate. And when this is happening, you'll have Thrall coming at you. It's also possible for Kalli to actually teleport to your plate and start damaging you. And if that happens right now, especially if you're underleveled, it's best to try and use a super to survive if you don't need it for DPS, or to simply get off of your plate, call out that you're having a bit of an issue, and ask players to come to you essentially when they get their knights down. And the knight actually spawns on the plate once you've fully charged it up. So it's about 6 cycles of the Blight's changing position on the plate. You hold the plate down until the knight spawns, and this is the same on every plate in the room. Once this knight spawns, you're going to want to take them down, and you definitely need to take them down because each of the knights is going to actually open access to a safe room inside of the next damage phase. So you need 6 knights so that you get 6 safe rooms so that all of your teammates can survive. But basically, once you've done this, you head to the middle of the well. Kalli will actually spawn in. It's possible that if you take too long on the plates that she'll actually spawn into the middle and you'll be missing some of your damage phase. Right here, we're using a combination of sleepers, whispers, Ikelos shotguns, and obviously supers and damage buffs. All of the stuff that you would expect to need, you're going to need a ton of damage. But you can see that we do damage for a moment, and it says that Kalli prepares to wield her weapon. Shortly after this, the safe rooms underneath Kalli's current position are actually going to open up, and these are these little kind of slots. Only one player can actually go into one of these safe rooms at a time, and because there are only 6 and you don't have very long to kind of work it out, every player is going to have to be very vigilant. We didn't really find a super elegant way to sort the safe room thing out. Players just have to be very fast and very aware of where each member of the team is actually trying to get into the safe room. But essentially, you do the damage, she prepares to wield the weapon. Shortly after that, the safe rooms come up. You head into the safe rooms. You can see that we're safe right here. Once they open, definitely best to have a couple of grenades go out from the team to kill the ads in the middle, and you can actually go back out and do damage 2 more times. So the full damage cycle is essentially, you go to the middle, you do damage, she wields the weapon, you use a safe room, you come out, you do more damage, she wields the weapon once more, you use a safe room, come out, do more damage, she'll wield the weapon one final time, then you use a safe room, and that is essentially the end of your damage phase. So you'll need to use the safe rooms 3 times, you'll have 3 opportunities to do damage in the middle, but like I said, you'll have to put out an absolute ton of damage to take this boss down, and some of the weapons I listed before are going to be the best to actually do this. But you can see when we get out of the safe room for the final time, we need to look back up to the middle of the well and look at the symbols that we can see. And when we come out in this instance, there are actually no smiley symbols in the middle. So that means that we need to occupy every plate with the exception of the plates that have that smiley symbol. I know these names are kind of unusual. I'm sure we'll figure out a more elegant way to name them. You may have to figure out your own kind of exact system for that. But you'll identify the plates that you need to charge, and you essentially repeat the exact same process as what you did in the first instance. Charge all of the plates up until they take a knight spawn, get those knights killed as soon as possible. That will enable you to access the safe rooms. You can head to the middle, do your DPS. Remember that there are 3 rounds of DPS, and that means you'll have to use safe rooms 3 times. Right here, we actually got her in 2 rounds, so we only had to charge plates 2 times, and then we did 2 full damage phases, and we managed to take her down. I believe that you can do 3, so if you do need that extra damage phase, it's definitely going to be there for you to actually use. I would, however, say that for most teams, you're probably going to want to get this done in 2 complete cycles, simply because of the amount of deaths you're likely to have. And this is at lower levels, so if you're around about 530, 540, 530 especially, you're going to get battered around quite a bit in here. I was actually around about 533, which is very, very low to do this, so my DPS output wasn't the best. Thanks a lot, team. Huge credit to my team for the help, as always. But those are essentially the mechanics, guys. You have to visit 6 total plates during every wave and charge them up. The icons and the plates that you'll have to go to are indicated above the well. There will be 1 symbol which is excluded, and you'll see 2 of each particular type. So we had 2 infinite symbols coming up at once, 2 8 symbols, and 2 smileys, for example. And that's how you identify those plates, lock them down, kill the knights, go do DPS. So that's kind of the quick version, then the more complicated version, then the quick version again. Hopefully that kind of explains the basics of this encounter, guys. Definitely a pretty tricky raid. A big component of that is the power level right now. Later on in the raid, you do get up to points where you're looking at enemies that are actually 570 plus. So for me in particular, that is an absolutely huge gap. It's going to take me a little while to get to that final boss, I think. But there we go, guys. That is how you defeat Kalli. After you've defeated this boss, you can actually head through, and this is where you find the bridge. And there is a hidden raid chest here. So you walk along the underside of the bridge right here on the kind of structures. You can see that we drop down to the chest, and from this chest you can get raid gear, but it is actually a non-powerful drop, so they won't be kind of super high level stuff, but you can get any of the weapons, any of the pieces of armor and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely pretty nice. And once again, that third Seed of Light currently is dropping from raid encounters. I'm not sure if it's just the first encounter or if it can come from other encounters. I got lucky and got it on the very first encounter. For folks who are worried about not getting that subclass, I would be surprised if Bungie kept this as the exclusive way to actually get it. Of course, I can't promise that it's going to change, but I think it might be kind of like a little bonus for people who are getting through the raid right now, and maybe on next week's reset or something, it could become available for others as well. We'll have to wait and see, but let me know your thoughts on the raid, guys. If the video has been useful, a like below is very much appreciated, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. But for now, I hope you guys have an awesome day.